Hi, I'm Angus Clark. I play guitar for folks like Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Kitaro. Welcome to my studio. I've been in original bands, but mostly I'm a hired gun, a side person. When you join an original band, are you an artist or are you a side person? Can you tell? Let's get into it. For most of the pop and rock industry, the term artist is synonymous with singer. Now maybe you're like me. I started playing music with the idea of being in a band. Sabbath, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, these were my heroes. And I had a band in high school with my good friends because that's the model. School friends who are going to count on each other through thick and thin. But when that band didn't work out, I didn't quit playing music. I stuck it out. While I've joined and or formed a few original bands since then, most of my work is as a side person. Over the years, I've learned that it is near impossible to have that idealized 4 or 5-way split band. If you're not the singer-songwriter, it's like a 90% probability that you are only in a band because the singer-songwriter wants to leverage that concept to get you to work as a side person for free. And that's what this video is all about. In the 90s, when I got back to New York after getting my music degree from USC, my first break came when I joined a signed band as a replacement guitarist just after the release of their first record. That band had a record deal, and that was all I needed to know. Nice guys, we bonded over influences and all that stuff. I was all in, like, I'm in the band. Well, quick tip, just because there's a record deal doesn't mean there's money. And that band was dropped shortly after I joined, putting us back to square one, chipping in on stuff and all that. So yes, I was helping write songs, wasn't helping write lyrics, but I was engineering demos, producing, driving the van, all that stuff. And to whatever degree I pulled my weight, when push came to shove, it was their band, which they expressed in different ways, that really bothered me. The founders of a band will always have a sense of entitlement about the project, no matter what else happens. And really, they deserve it. They started it, they got the band signed, so I can't say they were wrong to feel that way. I just wanted it to be different. Well, that band went to LA, and we tried to get another record deal, and in the middle of us being on tour in this crappy van, I get seen at a show by Kitaro's management. And I jumped on that opportunity hard because I needed to make some money. And it worked out. I got the gig. I left the band, and now I was a proper side person. I felt immense validation getting paid to play the guitar. I got to travel all over the world. We played Radio City, Carnegie Hall, Himeji Castle in Japan. I had a rack of equipment the size of a refrigerator. I played on 3 studio albums and 1 live album with Kitaro, and it was a transformative time in my life. It was about a 5-year run before he decided to change up the band. During that time, I started trying to correct some of the shortcomings in my skill set, things that I thought would raise my value in my next band project, specifically singing and songwriting. So I took singing lessons and I went to songwriting workshops. Songwriting was really an undervalued course of study at the time I went to college. I think that's changed, but that's how it was then. And I started to get this stuff together because while I was doing the Kitaro gig, I had this feeling that it was leading me to a place I did not want to go. I was disappointed about strictly being a hired gun. And that's a key part of this. You got to know your value in every situation and know what you want to do. If you're presented the opportunity to join a band Make sure you're bringing equal value to the table and figure out what you can get out of being in that band. I maybe got more out of that band than anyone else because I got the Kitaro gig. After Kitaro, I had an original band project of my own where I was the singer-songwriter, and I leveraged the band concept to get the other guys to play for free. I also joined a band led by a singer-songwriter and his buddy who was a bass player-producer. Now, they were way better at songwriting and production than I was, so I learned a lot. And that's really all I got out of those experiences. Both of those projects ran their course with no label interest or real output. They never really got tested. But I know for a fact that in the band I was leading, I was the artist. And in the other band, I was really a sideman. And knowing that allows me to evaluate the risk and reward of the projects. The reality of a situation is only realized during a stress test. It's easy to say we're a band when the commitments are fairly low. But you're not going to get anywhere without commitment, so there won't be much stress one way or the other. If the folks you're working with are dead set on being successful, then there will be real commitments and real stress. And in these cases, the stress mostly comes in one of two ways. You either run out of money or you come into money. You come into money by getting offered a publishing deal or a label advance or a licensing deal. Now, if the project runs out of money and enthusiasm, it's pretty simple. You can walk away. If the band comes into money, that's when the squabbles start, where you suddenly are made aware that person A feels entitled to more, or person B has self-designated themselves as the arbiter of the split, that kind of thing. And suddenly you realize you're a side person. If you're looking at joining a band, sort out if you're an equal contributor, and then act accordingly. You may want to opt to be a side person. If you join, get a signed band agreement or an LLC or just get something legal done. It's worth it. And make sure your ass is covered. Even if you get the band agreement done, make sure you have writing credit and a piece of the publishing. This will at least serve as some compensation for all the work you do before you inevitably get sidelined by the label or the press or the fans or your bandmates or everyone all at once. You may not have been in it for the money, but the money may be all you get out of it. If you think you're immune, you're wrong. Look at Sabbath. Look at Pink Floyd. Those bands are the ones I revered. Those are my heroes. I thought they were four school friends who would be there through thick and thin. And they have both gone through this stuff in the worst possible ways. These outcomes may not be your bandmate's fault. The label may only want to sign the singer, or the focus of the press and the audience just makes it happen. There's hilarious footage of No Doubt doing an interview as a band, but the camera is zoomed in to just be on Gwen. All the questions are being asked directly to Gwen. But then suddenly one of the bandmates chimes in so that the camera zooms out, and you realize that all four members had purposely crammed themselves onto a love seat just to keep the interviewer from doing exactly what they were doing. This stuff is inevitable. If you're already working together with a band, a lot of folks will avoid the band agreement out of denial. Just drafting a band agreement can break up a band. An honest discussion of who's doing what and what everyone feels entitled to will reveal who is the artist and who are the side people. And then the artist would have to start paying the side people. And the artist may not have the money to do that. The side people will have to accept that their artistic input is limited. And this is the kind of thing that wears on bands. None of the guys will listen to my ideas, that kind of thing. And you see this with older bands, people in interviews saying, like, I submitted a tape, but none of my stuff made the record. It's hilarious. Like, you don't know that you're not part of the writing team. In a lot of ways, this is where Nashville and pop and R&B have the clearest delineations of roles, and it simplifies things. Are you a writer? Are you an artist? Are you a side person or a producer? Who is it, a solo act? Is it a duo? That kind of thing. But for the rock crowd, it's bizarre how repetitive the story is and how obvious the situations and outcomes are. Look at any band where the band name is the same as the founding member's last name and how shocked and wronged the other members feel when they eventually get replaced. Dio, Dokken, Van Halen, Bon Jovi, Montrose. You didn't see that coming? Or look at newer acts like Ghost. Tobias Forge famously fired about the whole band, and they were all surprised and distraught, like they made his identity public online. But really, you took a gig where you were anonymous, masked, you had your face obscured, you gave no interviews, and you're surprised that eventually the artist replaced you. How can that happen? Well, it happens because we grew up with this dream of what a band is and what it's supposed to be. And we will fool ourselves into believing that it's happening to us. This is how con men and psychics work. A person desperately wants to speak to their late mother. I can make that happen for you, says the psychic, and that person will believe it. It is many musicians' most fervent wish to be an equal collaborator in a band, and that wish is blinding. I participated in making 3 band albums, and I made 2 solo albums as an artist. But they're independent releases. They don't have much visibility in the broader music industry. All of my public profile and income is the result of working as a side person for better-known artists, and I'm proud of the work that I do in that role. And I am in the band on those gigs in the sense that each of these bands functions as a unit built on trust and talent. I love the people I work with, and I'm immensely proud and humbled by the appreciation of fans and concert goers and YouTube followers over the years. And I do express myself as a musical artist, even in that role, as part of being a musician, always. But I'm not the artist. I'm a hired gun. If I set clear expectations around what success looks like to me on a gig as a side person, and the compensation is right, then I'm able to appreciate the satisfaction of a job well done when it's over. If I do a project as an artist, it's really clear that I'll be footing the bill or arranging the support for it, and then that's satisfying in its own way, because it's mine. So to sum up, if you're looking at joining a band, make sure you have an agreement drawn up. Know your value, improve your value by improving your skill set so that you can advocate for yourself. Review every opportunity dispassionately and weigh the compensation versus the work, the risk versus the reward. Don't let the dream of being in the Beatles blind you to what is actually on the table. If you collaborate with someone or a group of people, agree on how responsibilities, credit, and revenue will be split and put that in writing. And that's the only way to know you're an artist as a part of a band. And if you're not, that's okay too. Make sure it's worth it to you and enjoy the ride. All right, that's it. I'm Angus Clark. Thank you for watching.